Let's talk now about power relationships, especially regarding employees, consumers, third-party partners, and governments. We already talked about the unfair labor practices of Amazon. I would just like to highlight a few things about the power imbalance between laborers and Amazon. So there is an asymmetric information between both, so workers don't know the value of their work, the profits of the company, how it's structured, etc., while Amazon knows basically everything about the company and the employees. Also, workers are very geographically distributed all over the world, making it harder for them to share this type of information between them, to unionize, to organize things, etc. Work is very often outsourced to places that have lower labor protections. Work is highly surveilled, so Amazon can know when you have a break, how much time you take in your break, how are you working, your productivity, etc., which would be a form of asymmetric information because you don't know those things about your bosses or about how the company is structured. Work relationships are fragile in the sense that you can be easily fired, especially if you are doing some low-skilled work in a society that have very high unemployment rate, so they could hire someone else easily. And for a plant, for a location where Amazon have a lot of employees, so if they have thousands of employees and you're fired because you are protesting or organizing a strike, well, you won't be so much missed. So all those things end up limiting the bargaining power of laborers, thus tilting the playing field in favor of Amazon. When it comes to consumers, the power dynamics are more subtle. For example, the opt-out options, you saying what you don't want Amazon to do, they are very often unclear and you don't know either where to find them, where to opt out, or you don't understand what this opt out implies. Also, when you opt out of something, this might reduce your features. So, some features might be unavailable if you disable aggressive data collection practices. And those two things together, they encourage the user to not opt out, which leads to basically trading your privacy, allowing Amazon to do more, trade your privacy for your convenience, having more features, not spending time disable them, etc. Also, as basically every voice enabled device, it will record more than the actual commands. So when you say uh, Alexa increase volume, the Alexa, the wake word will define that the thing that will go next is a command. And well, it's expected the command will usually be recorded for auditing or for other reasons. But the device might end up recording more than just that, like your conversations or just noise in the air, which would be a mistake, a false positive. That's somewhat expected, but definitely undesirable. In the case of Echo, you can check in this link here what is recorded, and you will probably find a lot of things that are not commands. So you will find your conversations recorded and things like that. Also, as basically every low-end device that cannot process much on the edge, it will rely on data centers, in this case AWS Cloud, for most of the heavy processing, which might include even the text to speech and the basic audio processing features, which means basically your data will be stored in someone else's computer. The balance of power between Amazon and other companies also is unbalanced, but in this case a little bit less, so I'll just go fast. In a nutshell, if you want to have an application running Echo, or if you want to integrate any kind of product with Amazon Echo, you have to pass by Amazon in very strict senses. So you have, for example, to have your application, your gadget, your skill set, etc., approved by Amazon. And there are a lot of things that you cannot change in this architecture. So the way Echo will detect the wake word, the way it will process the voice, etc. You have zero control over it, so you're completely locked in to the way Amazon do things and the way they will highly induce you to use Amazon services, etc. Last but not least, power relationships with the government. So Amazon invests yearly more than $90 million in lobbying. Just in the US, there are more than 120 lobbyists in Washington. So even though government regulation could mitigate some of the problems that we are discussing, the amount of lobbying that Amazon does makes it very difficult for society to approve regulations that would go against the interest of Amazon